Lil Jeff's killer was one of the most dreaded low-key shooters in the Trap City gang, so it was no surprise that he shot the rapper 19 times in an attempt to stop him from trespassing in his hood. For years, it has been Trap City versus the Bloodhound, with both gangs killing members from each faction to prove a point. However, following his first appearance in court for the murder, Lil Jeff's killer explained that it wasn't just mere gang rivalry this time. He lays down strong points to prove his innocence despite being caught red-handed on camera as the killer. So what exactly is his defense? Trap City Rob pleads not guilty in court. For those familiar with the Chicago drill rap scene, it's no news that two of the city's most notorious street gangs, Drill City and Trap City, have been locked in a bitter rivalry over the last few years that has claimed several lives on both sides. The feud seemingly reached its climax on June 8, 2024, when rapper Lil Jeff, one of the leading figures in the Bloodhounds, was fatally shot. Few days later, the internet went rife with rumors that Lil Jeff had been killed by a Trap City gang member named Robert Coleman, aka Trap City Rob. For months, fans on social media continued to parade Rob as Lil Jeff's killer, and he never outrightly denied the allegation. However, the whole situation took a dramatic twist when Trap City Rob was arrested by the Chicago Police Department in connection with Lil Jeff's murder. After posing as Lil Jeff's killer for several months, Rob would go on to enter a not guilty plea during his first appearance in court. Furthermore, Trap City Rob revealed during court proceedings that he had acted in self-defense after Lil Jeff invaded his neighborhood and tried to take out one of his homies right in front of his front porch. Interestingly, Rob's account of the incident was corroborated by surveillance footage from a street camera that captured the events that led up to Lil Jeff's death and the aftermath of the shooting. In the video, Lil Jeff can be seen chasing after a man wearing yellow shorts and firing multiple shots at him. According to police scanner recordings, the man was struck in the chest, but he still managed to scamper into a nearby building with Lil Jeff still hot on his heels. Just as Lil Jeff is about to enter the building through the front door, multiple shots ring from inside the building that send Lil Jeff crashing down the steps and onto the ground. The shooter is then said to have stood over Lil Jeff's body and emptied an entire magazine into him at close range. In another clip that captures another angle of the shooting, some of Lil Jeff's homies, one wearing an all-black outfit and another in a pink hoodie, see that the late rapper is in trouble and try to launch a rescue mission. This leads to an intense exchange of gunfire with Lil Jeff's killer that ends with them hurriedly beating a retreat. As the duo retreats to the getaway vehicle, the man in the pink hoodie, who is later identified as Lil Jeff's cousin, Q50, appears to have taken a hit in the leg as he visibly carries a limp while retreating. But just before they flee the scene, the getaway driver takes one last glance at Lil Jeff getting killed and realizes it was too late to save him. He then dejectedly walks back into the car and the trio flee the scene, leaving Jeff to his fate. However, after circling through the area, Q50 and the other man return to the scene to carry Lil Jeff's body from the front porch and take him to the hospital. It was later revealed that Lil Jeff suffered 19 gunshot wounds, making it impossible for him to survive the attack. While police officers didn't meet Lil Jeff's body when they arrived, they were able to recover 58 shell casings at the scene of murder, which painted a dire picture of the carnage that had taken place moments earlier. The brazenness of the attack left the community in shock, with stakeholders decrying the sad state of Chicago's drill rap culture, which had fostered the glorification of gang violence amongst young rappers in the city. Meanwhile, Rob's claim of self-defense was further reinforced by the fact that Lil Jeff and his Bloodhound crew had staged the attack in an area of the city that is known to be Trap City territory. More importantly, Rob told the court that the house where shooting occurred was owned by his grandmother, and so he wasn't only protecting his homie, but also looking out for his family. The availability of the footage left the prosecutors with little to go with, as it clearly showed that Lil Jeff was the aggressor. On top of that, Lil Jeff and his homies are seen firing indiscriminately, and at some point Q50 is seen firing multiple shots at a SUV that was driving through the area. Prior to his arrest, Rob had already cleared every doubt about whether he was actually present when Lil Jeff was killed, when he revealed during a July 2024 interview that they were ambushed by 6 Bloodhound members, including Lil Jeff, on that fateful day. He made the claims when he was asked by the interviewer if there was anything about the case and the ensuing social media drama surrounding the whole situation that he would like to clear up. Rob responded Rob's admittance that they were ambushed by 6 men directly put him at the scene of the shooting, and while this had legal consequences, it also heightened the frenzy surrounding the whole situation, with fans quickly turning him into a cult hero. Before long, Trap City loyalists dubbed him the Defensive Player of the Year, in recognition of his timely intervention that saved the life of his homie. Funnily enough, when Rob was initially identified as Lil Jeff's killer, these same loyalists argued that he was not at the scene when the shooting occurred, all in a bid to save Rob from getting prosecuted for murder. However, those arguments were quickly found to lack merit when it emerged that Rob was living in the house where the Lil Jeff murder took place. Furthermore, in the court documents from Rob's arrest, police claimed that probable cause exists for the arrest of Robert Coleman, in that he was identified on scene by a witness to be present during the shooting death of victim Jeffrey L. Harris, as well as electronic surveillance. The document also showed that Rob was charged with first-degree murder, but due to a lack of evidence proving Rob was actually the one who killed Jeff, the murder charges were later dropped and Rob was hit with a new charge of unlawful possession of a handgun. As expected, the news of Rob's murder charge being dropped was well received by Trap City loyalists who took to a Reddit thread to express their excitement. However, amidst all the celebrations, some fans still took out time to slam the police's decision to bring up one count of armed habitual criminal charges against Rob. While responding to the thread, one of the Reddit users said, "Oh wow, so the Jeff situation is actual proof that having a gun around was necessary for your life to be safe, but it doesn't matter. The options are die or save yourself and sit in prison for significant years. WTF." Another person wrote, "Same here, and I don't think dude should get charged anyway. He defended himself and that's all that matters. He literally wasn't hurting nobody. That DA is just a power-hungry dick." Meanwhile, a third person weighed in on the conversation with a different angle and pointed out the importance of having a licensed gun. They wrote, "This is why you're supposed to own a gun, legally, like go buy it from a gun store, but get your gun license first, then you won't have to worry about any jail time." Given the comments from fans, it's obvious that if they had their way, Rob would be a free man and probably have a Medal of Honor dangling around his neck. But we all know things don't work that way. And having earned a reputation as a habitual offender, Rob may now be looking at a lengthy prison stay. Rob was transferred to the Cook County Jail in November 2024, and he's currently being held there pending the commencement of his trial. But despite being locked up, the public interest in Rob has not waned, and this has inadvertently had a significant impact on his music career. For those who may not know, Trap City Rob has been rapping for quite some time, but fans only started paying attention to his music after he was identified as Jeff's killer. Just days after the fatal shooting, a 4-year-old song of his began to go viral on Reddit. The song, which is titled "What a Feeling," was released in July 2020 but never really caught on until now. Less than a week after Rob was named as the killer, the YouTube upload of the song gained over 10,000 views, as well as hundreds of comments that referenced the Jeff situation. As time progressed, fans' admiration for Rob morphed into something like a cult following, as some of them on Reddit even created a new Reddit community on June 28, 2024, that was dedicated to posting everything about Trap City Rob. Since its creation, the Reddit community known as the R Trap City Unk Gang has swelled in numbers, and they have ensured that Trap City Rob has become one of the most popular figures in Chicago drill rap scene today. On the flip side, it has also helped fans get a better understanding of who Rob was before the fame, and surprisingly, he was nothing like your average drill rapper. The rapper has never been about that gangster life, and there are several old posts that show him preaching peace or condemning gang violence. In fact, before the incident that led to Jeff's death, Trap City Rob was known to have close ties with some members of the Bloodhound gang. To buttress this point, fans on Reddit even dug up an old picture showing Trap City Rob posing with Bloodhound Vert and an unidentified man. In the picture, Rob and Vert seemed to be cool with each other, and this had fans asking some serious questions, like what really happened between the Bloodhounds and Trap City to set both gangs on a warring path. The gang rivalry that unalived Lil Jeff. Chicago is widely regarded as the gang capital of the U.S., playing host to some of the deadliest street gangs in America. But between 2023 and 2024, some of the most viral gang incidents in the city can be traced to the feud that erupted between two rival Chicago street gangs, Drill City and Trap City, in early 2023. Drill City, also known as the Bloodhounds, is an African-American teenage street gang based in the east side from 79th Street to Maryland Avenue. The gang is notorious for committing violent crimes and are very territorial, which has put them at loggerheads with a large number of gangs throughout the area and throughout the city, even extending to the south side. However, in recent times, the most personal of these beef is with Trap City from the south and the BKN gang from the west side. For this video, we will focus on their beef with Trap City, a Chicago street gang that is a set of mainly gangster disciples that operates out of the Woodlawn neighborhood. But not too long ago, both gangs were allied, and the members even openly fraternized with each other. Back in September 2024, an old picture resurfaced on Reddit that shows Trap City Taro, Bloodhound Lil Jeff, and Bloodhound Q50 posing together before the beef. Now, we are not sure when this picture was taken, but the group seemed to be having a chilled moment and there is no indication of any kind of animosity between them. This was also the case when Trap City Rob was photographed with Bloodhound Vert, who reportedly started out as a Trap City member before switching to the Bloodhounds. Interestingly, Vert's decision to switch to the Bloodhounds is said to be inspired by the same incident that sparked the bloody rivalry between both gangs, the brutal killing of Lil Jeff's cousin Zaire Nelson aka Z Money on March 16, 2023. According to reports, Nelson was shot so many times that doctors had to tell the family they stopped the count at 29. The brutal manner in which Nelson was killed is what is said to have pushed Vert to abandon his allegiance to Trap City to join the ranks of the Bloodhounds. But the person who was most affected by Nelson's death was Lil Jeff. He and Nelson weren't just cousins. They also shared a very close bond, so deep that both Lil Jeff and Q50 are said to have tattooed their faces with Nelson's name after his death. While the police never found the killers, the word on the street was that the attack on Nelson was carried out by Trap City in retaliation for Lil Jeff stealing a chain that belonged to a Trap City member earlier that year. Now, you might find it hard to believe that something so trivial could have started this deadly feud, but Rob confirms this during a July 2024 interview. In the interview, Rob and Trap City Taro narrated how they used to be cool with the Bloodhounds until Lil Jeff ran off with the chain of one of their homies. Rob said, Trap City could have addressed the theft in a less extreme manner, but they inevitably chose to end their alliance with the Bloodhounds, and to make things worse, they even took out a hit on Lil Jeff's cousin, Zaire Nelson. And if not for a rare stroke of luck, it would have been a double tragedy for Lil Jeff, because Trap City followed up their attack on Nelson by carrying out a hit on another of Lil Jeff's cousins, Q50. The attack landed Q50 in the hospital, but once he was fully recovered, he joined Lil Jeff on Instagram Live to send out a message to the ops. In the video, Q50 raps, "Nigga shot me in my leg next month, I shot his throat." Lil Jeff then says, "They shot my cousin, but ain't kill him for some weeks straight. We was spinning, but the only difference is when she got caught, bitch, we killed him." Their lyrics was referencing the gruesome murder of 19-year-old rideshare passenger Jaleel Goins on June 25th, 2023. Goins, who was also known as Leal within Trap City circles, was shot multiple times while sitting in a rideshare. According to the police, Goins had just been picked up by the Lyft driver when a man approached the vehicle and shot through the window, striking Goins multiple times before fleeing on foot. The driver immediately drove Goins to Rush University Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. While Goins' death added to the Chicago Police Department's growing list of unsolved murder cases, the streets knew where the attack had originated from, and before long, law enforcement would have the biggest clue handed to them on a platter thanks to Lil Jeff's audacious self-snitching. In another one of his Instagram Live moments, Lil Jeff declares, while at it, the late rapper repeatedly flashed a gun at the camera, reinforcing to his ops that he was the one running streets. Jeff made sure there was no doubt about who was behind Goins' murder when he returned to Instagram Live to recreate Goins' murder. In the video, Lil Jeff can be seen creeping up on a white vehicle that's parked at a gas station. When he gets to the back seat, he looks through the window as if he's trying to confirm the target before taking a few steps back and proceeding to fire multiple shots at the vehicle using his hands as a makeshift weapon. As the video concludes, Lil Jeff backs up from the car and begins to laugh at the camera. This was the first time anyone was getting a glimpse of crime, especially through the lens of the killer. Although the video sparked outrage from critics who slammed the rapper for his antics, it still didn't land him in trouble with the police. Perhaps buoyed by this perceived invincibility, Lil Jeff and Q50 carried out another attack on Trap City towards the end of 2023. The victim was a man named Trap City Glenn, and the attack left him with 15 bullet wounds. Somehow Glenn survived the attack, and Q50 would later rap about the incident, revealing that he shot Glenn 10 times, while Lil Jeff added another 5 bullets. This last attack ushered in a temporary ceasefire between the Bloodhounds and Trap City, and during that time, Jeff became entangled in a heated feud with another street gang known simply as BKN. The feud would eventually culminate in Lil Jeff orchestrating the murder of 2 teenagers, Lil Rob and Monty, just as the duo were leaving their high school for a lunch break. The double homicide plunged the whole community into a deep state of mourning, but that sentiment wasn't shared by Lil Jeff and his Bloodhound crew. While everyone was mourning the loss of the teenagers, Lil Jeff and Q50 took to trolling the victims and hinting that they were the ones behind the murder. It was later revealed that the hit was in retaliation for Lil Rob and Monty stealing 2 wristwatches that belonged to Lil Jeff. This was the second time a jewelry item would trigger a full-on war between 2 street gangs, and both scenarios had Jeff as a major player. Lil Jeff's violent ways would eventually come back to haunt him when he returned to Trap City territory to try and kill Trap City Glenn a second time. Unfortunately for Jeff, things went horribly wrong, and he ended up being killed on the front porch of Trap City Rob's house. Once Jeff's death was confirmed, several Trap City members, including Rob, were seen in a viral video taking to the streets to celebrate the death of one of their fiercest rivals. The video starts with the group in one location before they walk a short distance to Rob's house, where they proceed to mockingly recreate how Jeff was killed on the front porch, much to the amusement of the other gang members. But while everyone seemed to be having a good laugh, Rob remained composed and didn't participate in the trolling. While most Trap City members have taken to paying Jeff in his own coin by mocking his death, Rob preferred to take the higher ground and even consistently distanced himself from the entire situation. During an interview on DJU-TV in late 2024, Rob played down his involvement in the fatal shooting, describing as bogus the claims that he was Jeff's killer. He said, despite the fact that Rob vehemently denied his involvement in Lil Jeff's murder, at the time, many fans claimed that he was only doing it to avoid the legal consequences of his actions. This would eventually prove to be true when Rob confessed during his first court appearance that he had acted in self-defense. Although the surveillance footage proved that Rob was right and wasn't the aggressor in this instance, Lil Jeff's people were having none of it, and they've been thirsting for the blood of their ops ever since. What happened after Lil Jeff's death? Lil Jeff's death had been unexpected, especially not by fans, his loved ones, members of the Bloodhounds gang, and definitely not by his folks. Following the death of the Chicago drill rapper, those who had love for Lil Jeff expressed their grief online. While all of that was going on, members of Lil Jeff's family became the most talked about on the internet, as his father made it known that revenge was on its way. Like his son, Jeffrey Harris, Lil Jeff's dad wasn't ready to let go of the hurt the ops had caused. Without any filter in his words, Harris declared via a Facebook post that the violence had only just begun. In his words, "And let it be known, y'all didn't get him. He came trying to get y'all, and what happened happened, but the saga continues. Clear the streets." It didn't take long for commenters to connect the dots. To them, the handwriting was crystal clear on the way. A commenter added, "Got hit on a hit," while another quipped, "In Jeff we trust." But Harris wasn't the only one who was grieving Lil Jeff with an agenda on his mind. The rapper's cousin Q50 seemed rather hurt and shocked by the death that with every passing day, he reminisces the time they spent together. Funnily enough, Q50 wasn't as vocal as he was in the days after Lil Jeff's death, until a few months later when he began to share his heartache via words, uncontrollably. Just 2 months ago, Q50 made a post on his Instagram stories, which featured a throwback image of himself and his cousin. Although the pair were smiling from ear to ear in that photo, the accompanying caption was marred with intense sadness. Q50, who was listening to Alone by 42, Doug featuring Lil Durk wrote, "On my dead GMA, you know you can always depend on me like I could depend on you. I will never let up for you on nothing we ever stood on. You is me, M is you. This shit really forever with us, even after, but at Bloodhound Jeffrey too, I'm gone. Keep your name forever lit blood dot without breaking a sweat," he continued. "Just continue guarding, watching, and protecting me. I love TF out you, broski. It can never be another you or nothing close to you, well, us, and you know damn well, it will never be another us." Q50 and Heifer. Not long before then, Q50 made a post that took the internet by surprise and had everyone commenting. The budding rapper shared an image of himself with Lil Jeff before adding the caption, "Damn folks, my big brother, my twin, my other half. Just like you said though, this shit wasn't gonna do none. But make me worse, I'm done crying though. I'm just finna do what you told me to." As a follow-up post, Q50 added, "I'm built for this shit and you know I'ma perform." Of course, all this yapping about doing what Lil Jeff had instructed didn't go unnoticed. Fans were quick to share their concerns, with some claiming that the bloodbath on the streets of Chicago was about to begin. One fan wrote, "That was his MFing twin. Bloodhound finna pull a old block and go dumb for him." Another backed it up by stating, "He might end up dying the same way as Jeff, cause he definitely gone slide about Jeff fashion." A somewhat concerned fan added, "Do what you told me to, this nigga is finna torch some. Somebody close to him talk to him." Truth is, if fans were concerned about getting a close relative to talk to Q50, that was probably a wish that would never come true. The reason is that, judging by what his dad Harris and cousin posted, it is all about revenge for the family, and there is no one thinking differently. Some fans are even inclined to believe that the thirst to kill ops is a family trait. But before we scratch the story of unforgiveness and how even Lil Jeff's mother consented to this type of behavior, let's get in through the door of how Lil Jeff was raised. Lil Jeff was born and bred in Los Angeles, California, one of the most talked about cities when it comes to its entertainment industry. At a young age, Lil Jeff garnered fame among his peers for his ability to make them laugh and tell stories. Once he passed his teenage years, Lil Jeff wanted more, and so his passion for humor and storytelling graduated to Inquisition. Soon, Lil Jeff became a content creator on streaming apps like YouTube and TikTok. On these platforms, he earned quite the recognition and following. Without a doubt, Lil Jeff was able to carve a niche for himself by simply showing off his talents, which did not go unrecognized. In the year 2022, Lil Jeff was named among the top 10 emerging creators, with a viewership of over 1 billion on various platforms. But all of this was not enough success for Lil Jeff, especially since it was free of controversy. The content creator moved to rapping, and in no time, he began to rack up enemies for himself. In the Bloodhounds crew, Lil Jeff became the most talked about rapper, owing to his discord with the Jungle Hood and the BKN, which were other rival groups. This way of life seemed appealing for Lil Jeff and his cousin Q50, who consistently dissed their ops while claiming to have killed some of them. Interestingly, this type of behavior was supported by his family, who never came out to speak against the entire charade. To make matters worse, Lil Jeff's mom gave her son a pat on the back for killing his rivals. Surprisingly, this was a move that was celebrated by the rapper, who showed off the private messages between him and his mom. He captioned the chat, "All I gotta say is she watched me work that 6'2". In their message exchange, Lil Jeff's mom wrote, "Go ahead, son. Your name ringing bells in the streets." I said, "Is that my boy?" Lil Jeff then responds, "It definitely is, sis." Not long after, his mom adds, "I love it. Sliding on them niggas who slept in them bed with you." This was strange to see because many had expected that his mom would have at least cautioned him against street violence or killing. It didn't take long for people to begin criticizing the message, with many blaming Lil Jeff's mom for inciting violence in her child. One person tweeted, "She was so happy to have an attack dog that she birthed and can manipulate at will, LOL. Another added, "Almost every single time a problematic parent is revealed, she's the reason he's dead. She encouraged that behavior, as we all can see through that one screenshot. So sad." A third fan quipped, "Nah, the father is responsible too. Look at his pop's reaction to the killing. Both parents are." Despite the ongoing blame game, members of the Bloodhound gang went on to establish that they were not interested in any peace talk. Some days before his arrest, T-Slick, who was recently charged with the killing of BKN gang members Lil Rob and Monty, proved that the gang was watching their ops. Via Instagram Live, T-Slick, who was vibing to a low tune rap while driving through the city, tells Trap City, the rival gang. Trap City retaliated by dropping a diss track targeted at the Bloodhound members. In the song No Dissing, Trap City Taro raps, "I ain't dissing next, but if I diss, it's to his Jeffy man. Take the Q50 off infinity, his ass can't even spend." The rapper, Trap City Taro, had always had the Bloodhounds as his enemy following the death of his brother Leal. Following Lil Jeff's death, there was a debate about what gang was willing to attack next, but it appears that this argument has been laid to rest. This is because the primary actors, including Q50, who might have possibly avenged Lil Jeff, is in jail. He was arrested and charged with possession of a firearm and would remain behind bars for a year. Meanwhile, Lil Jeff's killer, Trap City Rob, is also in the county jail for a crime not affiliated with any killing. As for now, fans await their time of release and what they'll do next. Whether they'll come out of jail only to commit a crime that'll make them return, only time will tell. If you like this clip and would want to stay connected for first-hand info on what's trending, please click on the card showing on the screen.